was really struck by the presence of the kite.
Yeah.
And the first ever interview that I had in this room was with Dessa, and kites show up for her. So this is the second time I've had an opportunity to ask it from this chair. Why kites? Why a kite?
Well, I guess I just love looking at kites in the sky, floating around, and I have this really kind of weird firefly kite, and I just take it with me whenever I take my son or any kids out. We're just always with the kite flying. I always like to try to get it. But my favorite thing in the world is like when the kite reaches the furthest rope and you can just stand there and hold it and it just floats and you don't have to move at all, you know. You don't have to run with it to keep it going, but you're just holding it and watching it float around.
The equilibrium is kind of being sustained there?
Maybe that's really it's just really satisfying that you have this like reach all the way up to the clouds, it feels like. The traffic light.
Whereas for Dessa, when she was talking about kites, she has a lyric about kites on the power line and the frailty, how impressive and beautiful the kite is on the one hand, but at the same time, things could easily go terribly wrong and the beauty would be gone. So the fleeting beauty. Yeah.
And get caught in a tree or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Lost,
so
that's a nice way to see it. Yeah, that's a whole different thought process on the same physical activity.
Yeah, exactly.
That gives me a lot of anxiety though to think about that.
I'm not sure whether there's more anxiety in the record, but there is less peace, I think.
Yeah.
Not that it's warlike by any stretch of the imagination, but there's not quite as much peace. Peace isn't quite as central to my ear as it is in Enlightenment.
Well, that's one of my goals of songwriting, is just to give myself peace.
Right.
So that's why I try to write about things that give me peace, because a lot of things don't.
Right.
And so I would probably go the opposite. So if I thought about kites, I would definitely talk about how good they make me feel while they're floating.
Yeah.
Not how, oh no, I'm going to hit
the
something.
Risk. Yeah.
But yeah, I do like, one of my favorite songs ever is Kites Are Fun by The Free Design.
Oh, I didn't know this song.
You don't know that song? Oh, it's a very good song. The Kites Are Fun is probably top 10 songs of all time.
Wow.
Yeah. That's definitely something that should get played, and the album cover of Free Design go right there.
There you go. Okay. You threw it there.
No one's ever done that, have they?
No, but you were at the editing helm.
Yeah.
The editing is like...
It's going to be messy. You're going to be like, oh god.
You're the
too many
puppeteer.
cuts, yeah.
I'm the puppet. So, is Rick still in the band?
No, Rick is not in the band anymore. Jillian's not really working with us anymore. She's just playing so much with her band and doing so well with her group. Our flute player,
Jenny Hansen.
She moved to San Francisco.
She co-wrote one of the songs.
She did co-write one of the songs in this new album, which is really exciting. So I'm still working with her a little bit, but yeah, no, just a lot of changes this time around. I mean, a lot of it had to do with the sound I was going for on this new album.
How would you describe the sound? We can hear the sound.
Yeah, it's true. I have a hard time defining it truly, as a lot of people do. But I would it's leaning on some ways towards some early 70s garage rock kind of like, or just like pop songs like more cleaner than garage rock. But maybe some Todd Rundgren kind of 70s era
I can hear that, definitely, yeah. The Brian Just Band has been associated with the 60s often.
Sure, yeah.
So if we were to assign it to one decade, this is like the 70s record?
Yeah, I feel like it more so, like more like Donovan, hurdy-gurdy man era stuff. I think that's
Nilsson.
71 or Nilsson a little bit. I was thinking a lot of Jonathan Richman, this record.
My Mojito made me think of Nilsson.
Oh yeah, My Mojito.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really fun.
That's really, so the funness of kites, that's a record where we have fun and we have serenity, we have peace. It's like at the end of the day, John Ziegler, in the Duluth News Tribune, has said that there's a simple, hushed quality to your vocal delivery that simply draws you in and says, we're home, work is done, relax and put your feet up. I feel like that's something that is really tapped into with this song, My Mojito. In particular, like the end of the day, on this day ends with a mojito, not with a cup of tea, not with beer, but with a mojito.
Oh yeah.
That seems to me as a song where all of these familiar ingredients, sense of fun, sense of safety and the sense of the end of the day and putting one's feet up at the end of the day. Let's focus on this particular song. What are you going for with My Mojito?
That song, I definitely wanted to. Well, I think the theme alone brings up a definite feeling of just sitting back and relaxing, because no one's ever unhappy when they're drinking a mojito.
I've never been unhappy drinking a mojito.
But that actually stemmed from our mutual friend Chelsea. Chelsea. Her mom and I were talking about mojitos and how much we liked them. And I can't remember much else, but other than that, she asked me to write it. She's like, "You should write a song about mojitos." And I said, "Okay, maybe I will." And I didn't think much about it then. And then all of a sudden, I did. One night, I just wrote it. That was one of the ones. I bet if I found it in this notebook, whoa, can't find it in there. But I bet it was one of those ones that I pretty much wrote in a day, like one sitting. Just wrote all the lyrics down, and they were just kind of silly, and it kind of became a love song for the mojito.
Yes.
Along the lines of, I was thinking Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville.
Oh yes, yeah. It makes me think of put the lime in the coconut. So that's why I was thinking.
Yeah, or lime in the coconut is another good example of it. Just that kind of just happy, bouncy, and that was kind of in that Jonathan Richman kind of kind of flamenco guitar thing going. And it just felt fun, and I just was like, so then the mojito kind of became a woman or something to fall in love with. Like the word mojito kind of becomes mojita halfway through the song. So it kind of blurs that a little bit, but I honestly didn't worry about it too much because I just thought it was so funny, and then it just.
At what moment
worked.
in the songwriting process did that shift occur?
I was reading a lot of Hemingway at the time.
Yeah, who gets a name check?
Yeah, and he was famous for drinking mojitos. That was kind of his drink. So he drank at this La Bodequita del Medio place in Florida or something. And so that gets a little bit of mention, and so it's just all these blurring of fun ideas that I just loved how that one came together.
Is this the most fun song, pure fun song on the record?
Really
do you
good
think?
Question. It probably is. To me, to play it really is.
Yeah.
I try not to get too singing wise excited about it, because the more the music is the fun part, and just the words kind of fall out, and it's really just makes me relaxed and happy when we play it.
It ends in an interesting way. We gather all of the empty glasses and fill them up for another day.
Yeah.
Choosing to end the song on that note with this moment, the mojito moment has ended.
Yeah.
But it will come back.
Yeah. Then it's like a party that never ends.
Yeah.
Let's fill them up again. Yeah,
right. You can always come back to this space.
Yeah. It's like a cycle then.
Yeah.
So that was just the best way to end it. I pictured myself writing in this bar and kind of watching all the glasses get washed up and kind of just getting ready for the next day kind of thing.
If this is fun and about a purely positive moment, are there any tracks on the record that contrast most with this?
Oh, okay. Maybe Civilized Man.
Yeah, which is the opening track.
Maybe, but that one's fun for me too, because I take this kind of serious aspect of myself and kind of make it into this pirate song.
Yeah.
In my mind, rather than sitting at a bar till all hours of the night drinking mojitos and having a good time. And this one's more about okay, I gotta take my life seriously now. I have to be a civilized man.
You have to be a civilized man.
That's how I feel.
But then the lyric is, once a civilized man, now a captain.
Yeah.
And the seafaring metaphors come up throughout the record.
Yeah.
They've been in the previous records too.
Yeah.
So, a favorite track of not just mine but many people's is Sailboats.
Oh yeah.
Which is the final track on Enlightenment.
Sailboat, yeah.
There, and of course we have the sailboat in the video for She as well. Yes. So it's showing up, but I feel like it's doing different things in these different contexts.
Yeah.
And so back to the chorus of Sailboats on Enlightenment. What I can see is all I can be, all that I can feel, and what is real. That's a chorus.
Feels right.
Yeah. So there's this kind of call to broaden one's vision, and then what one can therefore feel and what is therefore real to one.
It being present.
Yeah, well, why is the sailboat the medium through which to communicate this call to be present and to feel and to experience reality? Why is the sailboat that for you back then?
I think it was truly an image I saw while I wrote it. So I was watching sailboats while I wrote it. Yeah. So it wasn't some sort of image I came up with outside of it, but it was just I was watching a sailboat and it just felt like alone on the middle of the lake. And it was really like a peaceful thing. And it's funny, I don't think I'd ever been on a sailboat at the time.
Really?
Ever. And so in the last year, I very much have been, like a number of times now. A friend of mine has a sailboat who I just met in the last year or two, and he's taken me out a bunch, and I very much now even more so understand how peaceful a sailboat can be. Oh, great, yeah. Because, I mean, you're controlled by the waves, you're controlled by the wind, there's no motor, there's no, there's nothing else. You're just controlled by the earth's pull and the wind and the water, and it's all I think it really does bring me to this centered place. And I find that, and I think just watching it made me feel that way. Yeah. I just wanted to, if that Enlightenment stuff, I think Jenny said something once that made me, I didn't know why I wrote that, Enlightenment as the title, but I liked it because it was, she said it was kind of tongue-in-cheek or something like that. Yeah,
she said that you were the most spiritual, non-spiritual person that she knew.
Yes, like...
From my encyclopedic knowledge of all things Brian Jeff.
Yeah, so that's true. I think like I feel one with nature. I love nature. I really can feel it, and I can write about it, and it brings me a lot of joy. Yeah. Really, like, and I need it, but I don't get it enough, and when I don't, I crave it, just being out in the world. But it's very challenging to describe that Enlightenment thing because I'm not some sort of guru or like I can't do any meditation. I can't do anything really noticeably spiritual other than just in my own head when I'm out in nature. I feel like.
Would you go as far as to say that there's a spiritual aspect to the songwriting itself?
Oh yeah, I guess so. I never thought about it that way, but it does feel like to me like the best like elated feeling, like a spiritual type thing when I'm writing. It feels like most of the time not, by the way. But sometimes when I'm writing something where I feel like I'm writing music, it's like the best. I mean, writing music is my way of feeling good about myself and feeling good about. I like creating things, but the only really thing I know how to create is music. So when I do it, it really does feel good. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a good week. I feel it for days if I wrote a song that I like, So maybe it's something like that.
So it's interesting that just like the kite, you wanted the kite to represent something peaceful. And then before you'd been on a sailboat, you wanted the sailboat to represent that too. Yeah. You said now you've had the experience of being one, you're thinking about like what the waves are doing and being kind of relinquishing control to some extent. Yeah. That's what I was getting when you were saying about the waves guiding one. Yeah. There's also a playfulness to the waves, which is highlighted in the lyrics. So to she like the woman on the boat that's what she recognizes in the water. So there's a sense of play, there's a sense of peace, there's a sense of relinquishing control, all associated with the sailboat and the water. Perhaps in Civilized Man and or other moments in the record, are there any negative things associated, perhaps for the first time, with like water and?
I don't think so. Mm-hmm. I don't think so. I think it's all positive. That's how I really try to write. I've never written anything that was, not for a while anyways, that was sad, because it just doesn't make me feel good.
How about so two moments. Once a civilized man calling, but now he's just a man of the sea. What's it mean to be just a man of the sea?
Oh, I don't know. I think that it would be. I'd be really curious to know what I was thinking when I wrote that.
Right.
That I see it, or I hear it said to me. But once a man calling. I mean, I think it was just. I just wanted to play with that idea of the notion of escape, but it's really, that one I guess is the only one on the album that I feel like it's like, oh, now that you're settled down, it just doesn't, you know, I'm married, I have kids now and stuff, and it just feels like sometimes you feel like you could like, oh, what would it be like, you know, to be this pirate like sailing away, and it's like, but it's really not that happy. It's not really the answer to my, you know, this calling isn't right. Like the birds are, you know, there's like, I'm watching birds in the sky and they're flying away from me, and there's like all the imagery is kind of sad and alone.
The grass is browner.
Yes. The grass is not greener when I sail away. It's just kind of like, it's like this, like, I can take charge of my own life, but it didn't really work out for that guy. But I like that, the image of that, just this captain on a ship sailing away.
Why does this song sound this way?
Well, a lot of that has to do with my producer, Tyler Tholl.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he should be mentioned every 5 minutes in this interview, every few minutes. And
I'll go back and sprinkle the feature references.
Yeah, and here's a picture of him right here.
Yeah, there we go.
Tyler Tholl of Maple and Beach.
I wish all the guests did this.
as you're Googling all these images later.
Exactly.
Oh God, I'm sorry. No, but he had a lot to do with it. I mean, you can hear that song did have this like bump, 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 bump. And then it had this like he just kind of added these like kind of spaghetti western style drums, and there's so many instruments that he chose for that to kind of add to this feel, and eventually I was singing like the but it eventually just became this you know, like this
a
big,
more kind of bold
like singing in like the jungle or something.
Yeah.
Just like really letting loose, and just I don't know, it just kind of took on this feeling. I mean, yeah, it felt like a pirate song to me. Like that's as close to that I will ever come. But
there's an interesting cast of characters then in the record. So maybe you're the civilized man.
Oh yeah.
And then there's this captain with the bravado, you know, braves.
Yes.
He's nomadic, or you know, he's all the sea is his home.
Yeah.
I find it interesting the reference to calls to you in lonely, but civilized now captain sailing on the blue eyes of the cold white sea. Yes. So the sea is cold. Once a bird flies your directions, but now it only calls you in lonely crashing waves. And
so sad.
That is so sad. Yeah, but I feel like there is this. Like beautiful sadness at some other moments, in particular the title track. I mean, that doesn't seem like a happy song to me.
That is a very happy song, even though it is the saddest song.
Yeah. What an interesting paradox.
Well, that one should be mentioned too. I should mention my dad, John Just. He was the instigator of that song.
Okay.
And that should be definitely mentioned too, because he came up with the title to this album.
Yeah.
And he came up with the title to that song, and he wrote the piano part, which is a 3-chord, you know, ballad that he wrote in 1971 or 2 actually.
Okay. And keeping with the 70s theme.
Yeah, exactly.
Had forethought.
It couldn't be more perfect, really. But he never recorded it. He's not necessarily a songwriter, but he writes poetry, and he writes and he plays piano.
Yeah.
But he doesn't play in public. He doesn't like to play for anybody other than us when we were kids and stuff. But he would always play this song, and he would call it "Changing Traffic Lights," and this was the song.
Yeah.
I know you didn't know this. I should have given you.
No, I did know that you co-wrote it with
my dad,
with another Just.
Yeah, so that's my father.
What the relation was.
Yeah, and so he wrote it in 1972, and then he played it for. I mean, it was always his go-to when he'd sit at the piano. He'd just start playing this da 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 da, and then da 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 da. He really wrote the melody and everything. So that's his song. And then so in 1990 something, I can't remember, 96 or 7, I got a 4-track cassette player, and I was recording all my little high school demos on it, and it was those don't need to be talked about any further. But I was recording a lot of stuff, and I said, let's record your song, Dad. And he was very nervous about it.
Yeah.
He's even probably nervous if he watches this that I'm talking about it. He doesn't like performing or any of that stuff.
Is he nervous about about it being the title?
No, he loves that.
He loves that. Yeah.
He's hands off. I've invited him to play the song with us during the show.
Okay.
And that is like a big, like he might not come to the show if I even bring it up again. So, which I love. I'm like, that's fine. But so he wrote the song. I recorded it, him playing it just on piano in the 90s. So it's just the instrumental. And then in the 2000, God, I don't know, maybe 8 or 7, as a Christmas present or a birthday present, it was a present to him in some way. I can't remember what it was, but I thought I'd write some lyrics to it.
Ah, so it didn't have lyrics before.
Right, but it did have a title.
Okay.
So it had changing traffic lights, and then that was it. And then the music.
Did he ever explain to you why the title, Changing Traffic Lights?
Not specifically, no.
Okay.
So that's pretty much a mystery still, and I don't know if he remembers. But he liked that title, and that's how it's always been, as that. And so I added words to it.
Yeah. So some of the words are from green to red, from red to green, just like changing traffic lights.
Very simple. 3 verses, and then just a fourth verse of just
Yeah. And then
so really
traffic lights.
Yes. Very simple. I listened to all that, like, pop music from the 60s and 70s, and it's just all, just keep it simple. That's how, that's how I find all that stuff to work. Just keep it as simple as possible. And it sounds the most beautiful that way usually.
Very simple, very beautiful. To my ear, very sad, insofar as it's saying there's only green and red. Like for whatever reason in this like interpersonal relation. And then this is picked up in your verses, the verse lyrics.
Yeah.
First you say I love you, then you say you don't. There's so few lyrics in this song. When you say forever, then you say we'll never. And then finally, and now I'm lost and lonely. So we're ricocheting from one extreme to the other.
Yeah. And
there's no stability, and there's no safety, and we're the kite that's by the power line.
You're
like
right.
We're in Dess's imagination,
you're
not Brian's.
Absolutely right.
So
that is the saddest and most bleak song.
And that's where we're taken to on this journey. It's the final song.
That is true. Yeah.
So what's the
As you can see, though,
that?
from my perspective, it's very happy. Like,
Why is it
this
happy?
collaboration with my dad.
Precisely.
That's what makes me feel good
That's
about
what's
it.
happy about it. Yeah.
And it's a collaboration beyond that with Adam Conrad, who composed this beautiful orchestration for it, which is a whole nother story we could get into. But he and I met, and that brought this album to a whole new level.